Kia ora everybody, welcome to the First Call Plus. I hope your week has gone well. We're looking forward to our trio of meetings from New Zealand. We have got Trentham, Ellerslie and also Riccarton Park, and along with me to preview a few of the undercard races, Aidan Rodley and Michael Guerin. Let's start off with Trentham and we'll head to the New World Hutt Valley Handicap featuring Scandalo, $2.80. Michael, a horse who has just kept on improving.
Look, it has. It's not a race that greatly turns me on, to be completely honest. I think a lot of these horses are horses who have come out of the carnival and they weren't good enough to win races there. So they're sort of, fallen back into the support meeting for this week. I'll be honest with you, Aidan. I thought Scandalo was top tip, but I thought 2.8 was close enough to the market and I didn't want to bet in the race.
It's a really even race, so if you are finding something you're liking at a nice price, but bookmakers have got all but one of those horses at a single figure price. So I've gone with Scandalo on top, ahead of Belly Bay, who's a 1,000 metre specialist who's won 7 from 14. Go back and have a look at Scandalo. There it is, back in last place in this 3-horse race, but goes past them and in the end pretty comfortable too. Beats Petit and Jeu, that's horse in the middle, and not a bad performance from an up and coming horse.
No Trentham form, obviously, from the carnivals, but probably picks itself to a degree. I thought there's a horse in the race who's actually pretty good. A horse called Euphoria, pretty good horse. I don't mind it. Just had no luck last time. Things didn't go its way. This is its sort of field, and I think it's probably going to end up in a good rating band at some stage.
Yeah, it's been in and out this preparation though, but it does have talent though. So, and Tien Lee actually had no luck last time out as well. So we're just hearing the scratchings come through as well. Yeah, so Euphoria out.
So. Oh, well, in that case, Scandalo 2.8 starts to make more sense.
Yeah, okay. Is that how you'd be trying to make some money here, Aidan? Scandalo?
Yeah, Scandalo, but it's a difficult race, as Michael said.
How have you got Belly Bay second up?
Well, obviously, it's a sprint horse, a 1,000 metre specialist, 7 from 14 at the trip. So this is his trip, 1,000 metres, but 59 kilograms.
Well, and also he's got form on the track, whereas not many of these have. I think the only other one with any form on the track is Tien Lee, as you said.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at the Kamata Park Summer Cup. It'll be race number 8 from Trentham on Saturday, and Bizwinkle $6.80 gets a kilo off up the top of the book. Duplicity has just kept on improving up to 2,400, gets back to 54. 680 around a couple of runners there. Hunter Pence, Salsa Fay leading roll, 480 the current favourite, and Hank Moody $7.20. Deserved favourite, do you feel, Aidan, leading roll?
I don't know. He's a Group 2 Wakefield Challenge Stakes winner on the track as a 2-year-old, but Duplicity's been terrific in the last couple. Does look to be a horse who's going to be right there. Here's leading roll, just bustling clear at the top of the straight, getting 3 wide at that point, and runs home pretty well in the Martin Cup last time out. Back into Summer Cup company, Michael. Should be competitive enough.
Likes Trentham, yet to win past 2,000 metres, but has been rolling around in these strong races and doing a pretty good job. I thought this was the right type of race for it. Gets into a nice place in the weights considering what it's been racing against. It's been a very busy horse. It's been over all sorts of trips and raced in the Derby last year. As I said, this falls into the right race. I did think Duplicity had been really good and is a really progressive type of a horse and not terribly weighted here. He has got to a difficult enough place in the weights relatively quickly, but probably a horse I think is going to end up winning one of these decent country cups at some stage. Could win a decent cup this time next year. So maybe Duplicity is arriving at the right time, but leading roll's been knocking around for long enough. But gee, it's hard to have it as favourite.
Yeah, the one horse who you won't want to rule out here is Hank Moody, who was just producing one of the best sectionals in the Group 3 Trentham Stakes last time out. Drops back into this race with a 54 minimum to carry. He's got to be some sort of chance, and you can't write off Stratford Cup form. It's as good as anywhere, and Bizwinkle's bringing that.
You're a Duplicity fan though?
Duplicity on top for me. For
you to make some money here?
Probably Duplicity each way, but leading rolls in the right race for it. At $7, I would have loved it. At 4.6, it's a lukewarm love affair.
A couple of good races at Riccarton Park. We've got the Speights Timaru Stakes and the Dunedin Gold Cup Trial. A couple of good fields. The Christchurch Casino Dunedin Gold Cup Trial features Kaharo under 60 kilos, $3.50. Son of Zach has a 6 kilo pull on him though at $2.60. One of the more progressive stars. Ruby Row up in grade at $5, and then we're out to Made of Steel at $6.20. Market probably shapes up okay, Aidan, do you think?
Yeah, it's a difficult race. There's a lot of emerging sort of horses there. Ruby Row and Long Harbour. It's a compressed handicap with Kaharo in there as well. So yeah, it's a difficult race. We know what Kaharo's well capable of, and yeah, I think it's great having the Dunedin Cup Trial at Riccarton. Hopefully it just gets another group of horses into that, because Dunedin Cup's become a very good, strong race over the years. Wrecked in form, this will be close to your heart too.
Yeah, I love the West Coast circuit, or this year it was a halved West Coast circuit. Carlisle was excellent there, in a very strong field. And the one thing I would say, West Coast form often doesn't travel back. Now, Carlisle has raced, obviously, at Premier Tracks.
He's been beaten by a pretty clever horse here, though, Shadow King.
Agreed, and look, it's just so rare that what you see on the coast transposes back to Riccarton. It just doesn't happen very often.
Yeah.
Over 20 years. I found it a tricky race. Carlisle's the best horse, but has a 4.5 kilo disadvantage in the weights over the rest of the field, and that's an awful lot of weight. I thought it was hard to bet against him. I thought maybe Son of Zach was a horse who likes Riccarton, might find itself in the right race. Ruby Row is awfully tight for what it was. Got on the speed in a moto and just kept on charging, and they couldn't catch it, but this is a whole different kettle of fish. West Coast racing couldn't be more different from any form of other racing than it is from Riccarton on the big track.
I agree. Couldn't agree more with you there, Michael. We're going to turn over to the Speights Timaru Stakes now, featuring Son of Mahir, who comes back in here as a $3.60 favourite. Boots and all $4.50, $5.20 Vinevale. Interesting run of Vinevale, gets in on 53 and has a barrier draw to use as well, Aidan.
Yeah, exactly. The last couple of runs have been pretty handy. Placed at Trentham, at Ellerslie 2 starts back, and then wasn't too bad behind Colonel Kev in that Timaru Cup last time out. That goes to the listed Speights Timaru Stakes, and this is the way we see the speed with Dynamic likely to press forward for Chris Gundari. Sweet Chastity, I know it's going
Big
up
chance
a long...
it'll come out of that race, Sweet Chastity.
Okay.
And go on the 75.
Well, it would make more sense. I've got it somewhere near the speed, but it is jumping up massively in grade here. Spider's another pace influence into this straight, and then we've got Son of Mahar and Boots and All, who I'm a big fan of Boots and All.
Generally runs on, but wants a very strong tempo, doesn't he, Boots and All?
He does, but we're bringing Copeland's Bakery's Mole from both of these horses. Son of Mahir, remember, did dead heat this race, and Boots and All, that's the horse coming down the outside, running home strongly into third. And he's gone on with it since then. A couple of good second placings as well, and behind Riding Shotgun and then in that Timaru Cup last time out.
Does run a lot of placings. Been here 16 times, 1 win, 6 placings. But look, I think Son of Mahir, if we all knew the best version was turning up, it would win on this performance and the subsequent form of the horse it dead heated with, Shadow's Cast. But I was disappointed at Timaru. I didn't like it enough, but that's pitting horses for you. Often they'll come forwards and they'll go backwards, and there's no rhyme or reason to it. They can be really hard to follow. Sam Wynn gets on well with the horse because obviously CJ's at Ellerslie. I think it's the horse to beat, but I can see Aidan's point with Boots and All, doesn't go up in the weight, sits nicely enough.
Yeah, there's a 2.5 kilogram swing from the Copeland's Bakery's
exactly
Mile
right. That's the key fact. Gallant Boy's an interesting one. Like we saw last week at Trentham with Patrick Aaron, those horses with that really deep southern form, you wonder how it transfers to the metro tracks, but this is not a strong metro type race. But gee, 60 kilos is a lot to carry when you've been winning predominantly
and
south of
especially
Waitaki.
they've engaged Corey Campbell, who's got a 3 kilogram. He's got a 3 kilogram claim at the moment, I think, doesn't he?
Yeah, not in this race.
So
no claim.
exactly, no claiming race in here, and there's a couple of these jockeys who are like that. So you know, it's just you're sort of losing 3 kilograms.
With 3
almost,
meetings
don't you?
around the country, you do have a bit of that going on, and it doesn't make any sense really. But it's nice to see them get a go. But yeah.
There were certainly a couple of jockeys that were investigating riding at 2 meetings, with Ellerslie being nearly a 5 o'clock start, and
it's not a good idea.
Well, if they had rides in the $1 million races and then they miss their flight or whatever, then it's
if you had a horse in $1 million race and your jockey said, "I'm going to Riccarton earlier in the day," you would say, "No, you're not."
Yeah, thanks for that.
Can you like a horse in the first?
Aidan would force him.
You like a horse in the first race? What is it?
Governor.
Yeah.
I don't mind one in the Timaru Stakes either, just as a little bit of a roughie. Flying Ibis.
We didn't ask you that.
Well, I'm telling you, you don't need to ask. Flying Ibis. Just as a wee bit of a roughie, likes Riccarton Park. He's a better horse.
Will you be there? What are you going to do tomorrow?
No, I'm working tomorrow. I won't be on course anywhere.
Oh.
No. Not
Trackside too?
Yep.
Oh, that's good.
Yep. It's where the people want me.
Okay.
Where the people want me.
I've enjoyed having you along today. You'll do a great job there.
Thank you, Michael. Yeah. You've done a good job on the first call this morning.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you for coming along. Thanks also to Aidan Rodley. There's the First Call Plus. Enjoy your day on the punt. Karaka Million Day tomorrow.